So, today we are going to check in on the causes for U.S. entry into World War II. As you know, we were examining the situations or the scenarios yesterday, and I just wanted to show you kind of how they overlap into the causes for the United States entering the war. So yesterday we looked at the attack of the Lusitania, and one of the situations that we had was situation 2. On May 17th, 1915, we have this German ship that attacks and sinks a British passenger ship, and I highlight that we have 128 American passengers who were killed. My question for you, of course, is what should the government do? I've highlighted for you here on my slide just a few basic things. And these are things that we talked about yesterday. And we definitely know that this issue causes some serious stress for the U.S. government. And then kind of keep in mind it's 1915 and the war in Europe has just broke out because that happens in 1914. The next situation was about what's called the Sussex Pledge. And again, I've repeated for you what the Sussex Pledge is so that you can have a clean definition of it, and then identified sort of some basic information of what happens afterwards. Next, we have the Zimmerman telegram. This is a telegram that's sent by Arthur Zimmerman to the Mexican government. I tried to preload some of this information for you when we were talking about the nature of the relationship between Mexico and the United States. So, it would help you better understand why Arthur Zimmerman is even going to attempt this deal. Hopefully we'll see what your scenarios, your situations look like and how you wanted to respond to that. However, my last slide here is not something that was in the packet. So I do want to highlight this. And if you were in the AP Euro class, I'm not certain if you were able to get to this point. But in the midst of the war, as you were looking at the alliances that developed, one of the major members of the alliance with Great Britain and France is Russia. And a lot of this has to do with sort of like cultural heritage and, Russia's need to protect Serbia. They didn't really like Austria-Hungary. They were major competitors with them. And then part of the royalty in Russia is actually related to royalty in Great Britain. So they have this family tie. So Russia has this interesting situation emerge. And as the war in Europe's been going on for 3 years, the Russian government is under a great deal of pressure. There's this group of revolutionaries that are emerging in the country. And ultimately, those revolutionaries overthrow the Russian government, and it forces Russia to leave the war. And so it means that any fighting that is happening on that front, and we call that the Eastern Front, kind of collapses. And now all of the German and Austria-Hungarian troops that were fighting against Russia will now shift over to the West and will be able to fight Great Britain and France. And so it kind of forces the hand of the United States. And they feel like President Wilson, who is president at the time, feels like we have to take action because if the United States does not join in the war effort at this point in time, then that could cause France and Great Britain to lose, which then means that essentially Europe has been taken over by Germany. So I just wanted to highlight this, kind of kick back to some of the material we looked at yesterday. Today, for the bulk of time, you're going to be working with what is known as Wilson's 14 points. And Wilson felt like it was really important to have a goal, like a game plan. If the United States was going to join this war, we had to have a clear reason for joining. And obviously I've given you a list of reasons why the U.S. enters the war, but what's the larger purpose here? What are we trying to accomplish by entering? And so Wilson creates these 14 points. Literally, there's 14 of them, although some of them have a lot of points to it. So it's kind of really more than 14. But his goal is to say, okay, this is how I want to see the world when this war is over. So kind of think of it like his vision for what he thinks should happen post-war. You're going to spend some time looking at some of them, and it's really important that we do so because it will help us better understand the nature of diplomacy and foreign policy in the United States in the 20th century. So I have an assignment posted for you, and I'd love for you to get some work on it today. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.